Hello, this is my Omen guide on split. We're going to be looking at attack first. We're going to look at B. So on B, most of the time, I probably won't be taking the first fight here. But if I do, I'm going to be doing it like this. Very similar. Oh, sorry, not like that. Like this. The reason being is because I think this is a very strong angle. The only time this angle ever really sucks is if you get flashed, because you don't really have anywhere to run. You have to run this way, right? And they can still PK and kill you very easily. It's not exactly the safest angle, but it's okay. You can also pressure this person that's gonna, if they try to like peek your team, you pressure them by spraying through the wall at them. If they try and peek you, they have to peek past your whole team. So it's very, very nice angle to have when playing, and you don't have to TP there either. Do it. I do this on Sky as well. I do this on quite a few people. I don't really do it that much on Omen, to be honest. It is definitely a possibility, but it's not one I do that much, because I try to preserve my life a tiny bit until I've at least got my initial smokes down, just to help my team a bit more with taking the site. But when it comes to the actual smokes, usually I'm going to do a smoke in this area, and actually I'm going to do it like this for now, but I'm going to talk about why we don't do this normally, why we don't do it quite like that normally. I'll talk about it. And then this smoke, the important thing with this smoke, actually no, we won't go. I'll show you afterwards. I'm going to place it like this, and I'll explain why. The reason why I place it like this, the main reason is that we basically on the map, when I have my smoke out, you can see I'm placing the top of the smoke against this wall. The reason why is because it stops this angle from existing, where they can shoot my teammates over the wall. That's the reason why I want to do that. And for this smoke, the reason why we don't really do this, and I only really do this, so the reason why you don't do it like this is because if you're against a Sky, a KO, or something like that, right, then they have a really easy time flashing out this smoke because it's up against flush with this, right? But because it's like a corridor, right, it's quite a decently long corridor, we can actually afford to smoke it quite deep like this. And KO flashes don't reach right click, so they have to find left click. They have to find like a good left click on the fly. And with Skybirds, it's a lot better because they have to fly it out further, giving us way more time to turn from the bird, right? So we have like a really good smoke like that. Although obviously, if you're not against any of those agents, you can just smoke like this. Better like that, to be honest, versus non-flashing agents. It probably is a bit better this way. Because it gives them less space to work with outside the smoke, right? Because you technically give them this smoke, this part to work with, this smoke. I'll wait for this smoke to get in. Yeah, when you use this smoke, like you do give them this space, so it can be quite bad sometimes and get you like not much impact. So you only really do this versus like really good players, or if you know for sure they're gonna use pop flashes out CT and things like that. But that's basically for B. When we're going into B, I'll sometimes do this. I won't always do it. Usually I have people flashing for me. I'll do TPs such as this, or I'll do one back sight as well. Maybe I'll do both. And then I can say my blind for post, which is like, this is a really good line because it's going to get people coming at rafters. It's going to get people coming at B. Really, really strong. It's going to isolate them in this corner. If they want to try and dodge it or something, if they hear it beforehand. You can also do it like this as well, to like if you know people are coming out CT guaranteed and you don't need to flash anyone rafters. And this is really good because it stops them from ever, like they're guaranteed to be hit by it basically. I mean, also don't be afraid to look for TPs like this aggressively if you've just taken a site and you want to try and make a play. If you need to try and make a play on people on like mail or stuff like that, or try and sit into a smoke you've just placed. Don't be afraid to like do things like this, because these things can win you rounds. It just has to be a good read. You have to do it when it makes logical sense. Like if you're down a player or something, you need to make a risky play to win, or down a couple of players, you need to make a risky play to win. Okay, so next we're going to look at attacking mid. In mid, I'm going to be using this smoke here a lot. So I'll actually wait to do this smoke when I've got someone like a Sky, because the Sky will like to bird this, and then we can get the full info if I don't smoke earlier. Otherwise, the flash is going to either be confined to like a very small area, or it's going to be confined to the smoke. So I'll wait and let the Sky flash hit everything in this area, and then I'll flash. Oh, sorry, then I'll smoke. And then yeah, we can take the site, or not take the site. We can take a lot more of mid, and we can check these sort of corners. This will probably be walled, usually is, or we can, and then we can break it, wall this in response as well. We have plenty of options with this smoke. Be careful of people peeking out this smoke. like running at this smoke when they hear a lot of footsteps here. A lot of the time, because I know that I am able to like rejoin my team with like ult, or if I have TPs up, or if I can smoke for my team. Sometimes I'll just be holding this as my team go up. It kind of depends on what my role is in that team. If I know that I need to be one of the first people in, I will be. If I don't need to be, I'll be doing stuff like that. Then the other smokes I'll follow up with. If we're going male, I'll do this one. Bear in mind that we can do it a bit deeper if we want to, but it's not the best, so I just usually do it like that. And then if I have my second smoke up by then, I'll do it like this. But we don't have to have the CT smoke most of the time. Just be careful of main as well when you go through male, especially if everyone's gone through male into rafters, into site, because the enemy team could easily be in main if you don't have anyone there. Also in mid as well, if we have a raise that knows how to satchel to tower properly, we can do a flash. You want to aim just above the ping. Oh, happening there. Oh my god, sorry. Just fumbled all my buttons. You want to aim just above the ping. And in the center of male. Oh, center of tower. There you go. He gets everything that way. Including on top of the box too. And that's kind of it for mid. If we go through to B tower. Otherwise, I'll do a smoke like this. We go through to vents. Generally, actually, I will have this smoke up at the start because it stops us from dying in mid. And usually vents is not an instant decision. In ranked, at least in my experience. Obviously, if you decide to go vents from the start, you probably won't be doing this smoke. But generally, you'll start off with this smoke, and then you'll probably evolve into making a decision that will allow you to go vents, right? You'll get like a pick on A, like your Cypher kill someone A or something, and then you decide to go through vents or something. You get to like really advanced position. So then I'll do this smoke. And the reason why I do this smoke and not one closer is because we're giving the enemy a bit too much space. With this close smoke here, and also it makes them ask the question if we're in male still or not as well, a lot more than if we smoked it like this, right? If we smoked it like that, then they can like slowly maybe check some parts of it and sort of understand that we're not there, so they have this smoke now. But this way, it's a lot harder for them to do that because they probably will be really scared about peeking out here. Because think about the angles they have to worry about, right? They'll have to think about this corner, this, like it's just not possible unless they pop flash through. And you'll have info on that pop flash, so it'd be loud. Normally is. From here, I don't really have much util for vents, because vents is quite an awkward position. But you can do blinds for people, top vents, and that. Generally, I like this play when I go vents. I'll blind like this, and then I'll TP in this corner. And it catches any players that sit in this corner. They'll be blind and won't be able to hear my TP, and I'll die. And it's very hard for enemies to trade because they'll be affected by the blind in this sort of corridor as well. So they have to be very, very precise with their timing. With they have to have knife out, gun out here, and then be ready to P me, right? It's very, very hard for them to actually get the trade perfectly against me when I do that play. Otherwise, we want to be using a smoke like this cross. You can do that in conjunction as well if you want to. But bear in mind that if you do this flash, and they run into if they know the smoke is there, they'll run into the smoke instead of plugging this corner probably. So you probably won't get a kill from that play. Otherwise, and then hopefully we'll get another smoke back. Hopefully we didn't have to smoke this. Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. If you do want to make that play, you can do that and then smoke this. Or you can smoke this first, then make this play. You can have your teammates get across. And then direct onto A site. Then when it comes to retaking as well, A site. Actually, I didn't talk about how to play the retake on B, did I? Very much. We'll talk about how to retaking A site. You don't want to be doing. You want to just be using your smokes, re-smoking valuable things like heaven or site. Generally, if you've come from vents, you probably won't want to smoke this because you probably have control of heaven. You probably want to keep control of heaven because you probably would have been planting here. You have to bear in mind as well when you come through vents. You want to be careful of anyone in ramp if you haven't already cleared ramp. When it comes to post plant, I will sit in elbow as well. My positioning will be around elbow. I might sit in this corner. I might even sit over here. But generally, I'm going to be near site. I'm going to be near the site in some capacity. I'll just quickly go over back to B and talk about retaking B. Sorry, it's a bit all over the place. But on the retake, actually, I did talk about, wait, I did, didn't I? About re-smoking this.
Shadows traveling.
Did I talk about that? I don't know if you remember. Re-smoking this in this corner. And then you can do a close. Oh no, I didn't. Never mind. And then you can re-smoke this as well if you want to. If you have like a close plant, this is not too bad. If you're against pop flashes, this isn't a very good smoke. You want to be doing like this smoke. You can also do one for rafters as well to re-smoke. There's not really anywhere you want to go in terms of elevation with the TPs. You can go rafters, make plays like I said actually early on in the retake, or you can do it. Yeah, you can just do it early on in the retake, or early on in the actual take of the site. So if that's not actually clear, I don't think I explained that very clearly. But let's go over to A and not waste too much time. So on A, the normal smokes you'll do. I'll start off with this one. Usually you'll do this one second at the 2, and you'll do this one next. You'll do this one first. So you do this there's 2 ways to do this, right? There's this way, which is the normal way that a lot of people do. Because what it does is it stops people from sitting rafters in like a smoke and flashing out this way, right? Because they'll have more space to work with to flash out, like this, right? I do. So it gives like KO Skies the ability to flash out and swing. Which is not very good, right? But on the flip side, what you can do instead is you can come to like a jet or a raise to go on here, or even yourself, right? You can TP into this smoke or near the smoke into the smoke. And what happens is the if the player that plays site didn't actually see you like get into there, right? Didn't actually see you enter the smoke, they're gonna have to spray the smoke fairly blindly to actually like try and kill you. But the thing is that they probably won't make that decision because they're going to be scared about people coming out main and killing them while they're trying to get this kill. So they're not going to do that. They're going to train on main and they're going to leave you in the smoke, or leave the jet or leave the raise in the smoke. And then it allows them to make a play through here. And at that point you can do a couple things. I'll also talk about the other paranoia you can do, which is a very common one. You can actually help them by doing a paranoia from here or something, which will help them like peek out side of the smoke or something. That's pretty good that you can do. It's obviously hard to do that for yourself from the smoke, so you have to just like pick your timing and paranoia from whatever side of the smoke you want to do it from. And yeah, so those are the 2 smokes. I'll just place them again, quick, and we'll do the jet raise. You make a play type of smoke. The other thing that you can do is right at the start, which I really should have mentioned before this, to be honest, but I'm just stupid. We want to ping the ramp. I'm just above it, so very similar to the one on B. And we will just do this, and then the raise will blast pack all the way to ramp, and this person will be blind. Very, very common play. You'll see a lot in ranked. And yeah, I think that basically covers it, to be honest. For this, yeah, it covers it. The main plant spot you want to go, because we are playing Omen, we might have the bomb a bit. This is the best plant spot in the A site. But generally you'll see them. This is like the default plant, very, very safe plant. But most of the time nowadays with current split, you want to be taking tower. I think a lot of ranked players haven't caught on to that yet, but you want to take tower as much as you possibly can. It's very valuable, and it's also much easier to take tower nowadays because of the lack of like different elevations. And I think there's another change over here that's good. I can't remember what it was. Was it the widening of this doorway? Widening of something? I don't quite remember. Oh no, it was stopping this jump up here. There's no jump up here now, so they can't be on 3 elevations. That's what it was, or 4 elevations really. Okay, so yeah, it is easy to take heaven, so you want to make sure you do it a lot. Okay, so on defense, we're gonna start off with A. I have a couple of areas where I play normally. So this area is really good because it gives me a sight line onto where the enemy team will rotate to ramp, or they'll come into main. It also allows me to fight ramp, it allows me to fight vents, it allows me to fight with my teammates on site, it allows me to sit into one of these smokes here. I either push past this smoke here, or I can actually sit in this smoke and use it to flash out into players in main. So it gives me a lot of options to sit in that position. The next position I'll show is one that I do when I'm alone on A, and I'm not against a Cypher. If I'm against a Cypher, I'll just play that position like I was just showing. If not, if I'm against no cipher, then I'll play like this. I'll have a one-way up like this. So if anyone tries to go ramp, I'll have a one-way on them. The only weakness to this is that someone can walk up across this wall and get a drop on me, which is not ideal. So that's like the one weakness to that position. But most of the time that doesn't happen. If anything, I don't think it really ever happened really. Maybe one time. So it's very unlikely that people will punish you. If you have a Raze making a play with their ult, you can do stuff like this, or just anyone pushing really. It doesn't have to be a Raze making a play with their ult, but basically anyone. That's usually the normal way it happens. You can do that blind. It's really, really strong. Hits most of the things over there. And will help your teammates quite a bit that are pushing. Next we'll go over to mid. On mid there is this smoke here, which you'll probably do from anywhere on the map, just to help your teammates in mid. There is also a one-way in mid you can do. Also, don't be afraid, like in some positions, like you can make plays such as this one, like get info mid and things like that. Bear in mind this is like much better in clutches and things like that. This sort of technique, but you can do it to get info if you want to. Because oh my god, I'm so bad. You can do it to get info, and they might think you've TP'd somewhere behind them and things. They might end up spraying the smoke eventually, but you can do things like that. Definitely do it on range you're willing to risk. Don't do it on range where you don't need to risk anything. And there's a one-way here as well. If I actually, oh, yep. And it's just a one-way. It does land fairly late, so you want to be careful with this one. It will land late, and also people from this side can still obviously run you. So it's not the greatest of one-ways, but I thought I'd show it anyway. There is not really that many one-ways left. First Omen on this map, unfortunately. One of the one-ways you can do from B mail, if I actually am stupid, is that not that one. Not that one at all. It is this one. There you go. And the problem is with this one way is that it's a one way for the back wall. You can't really see it through the smoke, but it's a one way for the back wall. So I just quickly, one way for the back wall, but it's not really a one way for. Oh, actually, it is. It's actually a one way for this. They can crouch though, so you want to be careful with like some crouch peekers, but you will have the advantage on these people that tries to do things like that. So it is basically a one way, more or less. So yeah, pretty good from B heaven. But most of the time you're probably going to be smoking like this, help your teammates on heaven. You can also sit back here and flash for anyone coming out into B main or B heaven. Jesus Christ, can't speak. You can also do a flash, so you can ask a teammate to sit here, and you can sit here, and then you can do a setup flash with paranoia. So come out main, come out heaven. Sorry, come out heaven, and this person can peek, and you can peek as well. So you'll get the kills here. So it stops this person from having to peek out all the way around. They can just peek and get the kills here in these corners, in this. These sort of areas, and then you can get the kills that go on the right side. So yeah, it's pretty good. You have some good setups that are very possible on B heaven, and then we have B. So on defense B, there isn't, unfortunately, this isn't really a one way. So there's not really any one ways I actually know on this site. There used to be one, but I think they got rid of it because it used to be in the wall. And obviously you can't put the Omen smokes in the wall anymore because they just drop. So you can't do those one ways anymore. So yeah, there's not really anywhere that's particularly good for the one ways. But on the bright side, you do have things like this, which you can get onto elevation. You can get onto elevation, which not many agents can do. This is good for abusing a sage wall. Some people will take like wide lines against this garage wall. So you can actually get a punish against people that are a bit maybe too fast against the sage wall, like a bit too fast when the sage wall before the sage wall goes up, and things like that. Or even then, like just taking that angle, and the wall's already up, you can actually see over it slightly. So you can do things like that. Pretty strong. You can also have an op as well up here if you want to. That's also a possibility. You probably will get traded, but you can give it a go. It is a very dangerous angle. And that's basically it. You can also do a paranoia from here as well, but bear in mind that this is all wallbangable, so you are going to get sprayed. You need to be careful that you could potentially die doing this. But it is a really good flash. You can paranoia as they come out, and you have a teammate here. They can swing with you. It's pretty strong. You have some good set players with teammates, with paranoia. And I haven't really talked about the ult, because I don't really need to. I think the ult is pretty like universal use case. You get it to pick up the bomb and attack most of the time, or to reposition behind them, So on attack, you probably choose areas like this. If you're attacking A, you would choose areas like backside B. If you're going B. On defense, you would probably choose areas that would abuse potential trips or turret setups and things. So if you're there going A, you might decide to go here to help your team. Or if you want to actually like do like some sort of pseudo flank, they're all going main or something. Or if maybe you want to do a full flank, you go here to then eventually maybe TP a trap wire. So you do this normal rotation, then you just TP past the trap wire. Or maybe you would do, if they go B, you would do something similar like this to get past the trap wire and fight them B main. Or you could even just fight with your team. So say if they're going B, say if they're going A, I can just TP on defensive side to my teammates to help them take the site, like to help them stop the take of the site. That's basically it for Omen. It's not really the most comprehensive guide, but it's just to get a baseline of how I play Omen in my experience. If you want some advanced stuff, there are definitely good Omen mains out there to get that advanced stuff from. I'm a flex player, so I don't really have like super deep stuff about singular agents. I tend to have really strong fundamental stuff about all the agents. So yeah, that's it for the video. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in my next one.